Yeah, I'm excited for this podcast. Right before the show, Bobby goes, "What's wrong?" I said, "No, I'm getting into character." And he's like, "Oh, I'm happy. I just thought maybe you weren't excited." I go, "No, I'm actually excited for once, which is good because Frank's not here. He came back. He came back for once. We put it on the Patreon, and he's already gone again. But Frank will be a once a week thing. He is 80, and it's hard for him to do. And we're recording this at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and that Frank's like, "Fuck that! I am not." 9 p.m. is not what I do. You're like, but then I'm like, Frank, we do a 10 o'clock show at the casino twice a month. He goes, "That's the casino. That's actually fun." Fuck you, Frank. Take it, Bobby.
That was a long intro, but it needed to be said. Filling in for Frank, who's still crying like a bitch. I am our announcer tonight. So put your hands together for our host, Pat Oates, and the other host, Bobby Tamburo. And from Pat's old podcast, Podophiles, you know him, you love him. He looks like Jesus. It's our special guest, Brandon.
Know what's funny, Bobby?
Yeah.
For the last couple of weeks, Brandon, you wouldn't know this because you probably haven't checked out the show, but Bobby has been asking the guests impromptu to do beatbox or give him some hit music or stuff in the background while he does the thing. And Brandon, an actual DJ who could have done that for you, would have been the only guy that did it well. But that's probably better you didn't, because everyone has been really bad. Like a lot of white people just going. So it's been
Can I be honest? I heard the conversation about DJing weddings as I was walking in from the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh, he's gonna put everybody else to shame. We can't do that to our guests."
It would have been good.
He's way too good.
It would have been nothing but 90s kind of Public Enemy-esque. That's all it would have been, with a touch of Tribe Called Quest. But that's our excuse.
Dude, I got to play Tribe Called Quest at a wedding this weekend. Oh my god, I'm in heaven. I got to play.
Was it a white wedding? I don't mean a white wedding like dress. I mean like white wedding like people.
The guy was white and the lady was definitely Spanish adjacent. I'm not sure exactly which, but yeah.
I hope there's a Spanish woman who named her child Adjacent. That's Spanish adjacent. My child over there. I wonder if the Klan plays that song "White Wedding" at all their it's a nice day for white wedding. It's a nice day to start again. That's a whole different theme, right?
Every day's a nice day for a white wedding.
Hope no one here's gonna soil it with their shitty jeans. Is that what they think? They think that why do they hate not white people? I thought it was just racist, but what's their motive? Like, is it because
how much time do you have?
No, but seriously, I've never thought about I'm not racist, so I joke and stuff. I've never thought about why people hate people.
I've had some insight into this, and what I've heard that people don't want to race mix because they think that what happens is there's some kind of like DNA or something that has to be pure. But what they don't realize is white isn't a fucking race. Like, you know, it wasn't until like the late 1800s that there was even a Germany. Before that, there was just all these different tribes of people who thought like we do, black and white is different, you know? So then they just make everything white. It's like, I mean, you know, you're Irish. You weren't white like a couple hundred years ago. You know what I mean? Come on.
I wasn't even alive a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like, you know what I'm saying, but like the people that in this country, they didn't consider even Italians, you know, white.
Yeah.
Funny. It's so hilarious. But now
I still don't consider Italians human.
Oh, yeah. Who does? I mean,
fucking Italians.
Me, Bobby Tamburo. Fuck both of you guys.
Yeah.
You Jesus looking motherfucker. We're the only one who still believes in you. Everybody else, you're gone.
No, black women do. Black women love it.
Yeah.
They don't believe in a Jesus that looks like that, though, Pat. I've been over at their house. You've seen the paintings.
Yeah, he's got a good point. I have to do some tanning.
The wonderful thing about Brandon is Brandon does incredible amounts of research on things, but doesn't actually believe in 90% of the things he learns, which is wonderful. He has the knowledge, but won't be like, oh, now I believe in it. Brandon doesn't become a Klan member or whatever when he's done. Like a lot of people read one book and they're like, well, I'm a Muslim now. It's like, it was one book in jail, dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like they got a lot of good points, but I'm not trying to like, you know, get on my knees 5 times.
It's a lot of
day,
commitment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I like how that's the problem. I'm not getting on my, as a guy who's, by the way, during COVID, Brandon has found gardening. It's because go to soil the earth and all that stuff. So all he's doing all day is on the ground gardening. But he's like, I'm not going to pray while I do it. I'm just going to grow a carrot.
Exactly. I guess it is kind of a form of prayer when you think about it at the end.
It's a way more productive prayer.
Yeah.
I'm hoping this grows into something that can sustain me. Not like I hope I get to fly my plane into a sweet building sometimes.
Jesus Christ. You went with that God, huh?
I don't know any of them. Were the Muslims the ones that did that?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
Well,
yeah, I'm right.
allegedly.
let's just say,
Well, I mean,
the
the story that was told remember that story George Bush was telling to those kids that day? And pretty soon a plane's going to hit the buildings.
But don't worry, we're in Florida where it's safe.
Where no one can read but me.
That's what he was like a superstar there. They're like, wow.
He was
at
probably
this
just
guy.
trying to fuck all the teachers who fuck kids. He's just like, oh, they fuck so many kids here.
He's like, I kind of look like an adult baby, and I got all my teeth. I'm a 10.
He's got that outfit on that the dude from AC/DC would wear with the little shorts and the school outfit. He's like, I'm a little boy. What was up with that guy?
I'm so glad you brought this topic up though, because I tweeted yesterday that they tell us to hashtag follow the science, but jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams still. And all of the responses were like videos about how it wasn't melting steel beams. It was, all the real science, and nobody got that it was a fucking joke. Like nobody got, I was just trying to shit post. Everybody wanted to give me a full response. Nobody appreciated it for what it was.
Well,
I feel
it's
like,
one of the
Brandon,
many
you could have
reasons I'm happy I
appreciated
left
it.
Twitter. I'd have to write a tweet, and then the second tweet would have to be me explaining it's a joke, and then someone else trolling me going, way to explain your joke. I'm like, none of you got it. Like, you literally started a weird argument. And then people would argue back and forth about what I wrote like it was real. And then I would chime in making a joke and then say, stay out of it. I'm like, it's my fucking tweet. Why do I have to stay? I started this and now I have to stay at it. So I have not been on Twitter in over almost 2 months now. And it's been wonderful. I sleep so much better.
It's got to be so much.
I
don't try not to respond to any of that stuff because I found that anybody can really find anything to be true from their point of view. You could validate really any what you call it, because all truth really is just a half truth at the end of the day, because really it has to do with things that happen, but then perspective on those things that happen as well. So it's crazy, especially when you're never going to know what
quote
happened.
the Bible, as Matthew said, what had happened was that was in there. That's the truth all the time. What happened? There is no truth. It's all just what you see.
And like you seem very well researched, Brandon. So like, isn't it something 50% of your memories that you think are true are like embellished or distorted in some way? They've done a lot of research into this, and our memory isn't nearly as good like at recounting and recreating the situation. So you could completely picture a situation one way from your side and think it's 100% true. Pass the lie detector test and everything, because you in your heart you believe it's true, and the other person could be doing the same thing, and the truth always kind of lies somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. And
like I say Frank's gay. He says he's straight. The truth probably lies somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, that guy who lies in the middle that he's fucking.
Yeah, exactly.
His name's Truth.
He's a little crooked.
Carl the Truth Williams. That's who he's fucking. But yeah, it's like, it really, like I say, with memory and stuff like that, most of your memories, if you really think about it, come from anything longer than like this week. Okay, current memory, like what you ate last week. Yes, you remember what you ate. Now, you actually might even embellish it one way or the other about how good it was or how it was made or whatever, because your mind with your senses and all that. But if you go back 20 years, you say, well, okay, when you were a kid and things like that, most of your memories that you have most vivid are ones that if you think about, you don't remember, someone told you. Like most of mine are like, my mom told me a story of me doing this thing, and now that's my memory. But I didn't, from that moment in time, I don't have a lot of those. I remember my point of view, me seeing it. Memory. I have like 2 or 3 of those. In one's when I was a stage hog diva when I was a kid in kindergarten, and we were doing a play in Beacon Falls, Connecticut, and I was told to go up, and I had to go on stage 3 different times because I was killing it on stage as a little egg. I went up there, I went one little egg of mine, and the crowd fucking lost their shit because I came out shaking my ass. I actually remember going out there and going, I'm gonna steal this show as a 5-year-old fucking kid. And I went out, like, I was like, that was probably the moment I was supposed to be gay. And then like nothing else happened. Like, so then I go back off stage. I go, you're doing so great. Put on these bunny ears and go into this next scene. I'm like, well, I'm not supposed to be in this next scene. They're like, get out there, just do it. And the teacher, who was probably killing herself later, she was probably on drugs, just sending kids out on stage. I don't remember her, but I had put bunny ears on. That I hopped around. And at the end, they found this oversized cowboy hat, like a monstrous foam. They're like, get this on and get out there. And I walked out there, I started like shooting guns at people and doing leg kicks. They're like, good night, everybody. I just yelled. That's one of the only memories I have as a child.
That's hilarious. They're like, we're dying out here. Send Pat out again with the hat.
It was during the day. It was for teachers and some parents, like the 8 parents that showed up and kids. And they're like, yeah, get out there and save this show.
I wish you would have pulled the teacher aside and been like, listen here, okay? I'm a goddamn professional. I don't know what this improv bullshit you keep throwing at me is, but I read the script. I know my lines.
Who's that guy's name? Who went? Ryan Stiles? We got like a young Wayne Brady. Don't be make me come out here and fucking do your yes and thing. Who knew one day all that skill would come to you and I rooting guests on our show by making them go through this all the time. We've learned our skills. How was Eastside Dave today?
It was all right.
I saw that everybody was in studio though.
Yeah, they're back.
That's good. Or is it bad?
It's good. I like it.
You don't get your chair.
Yeah. But
you belong in that chair.
No, I mean, I belong in that chair for this show. You know, I feel.
I don't mean like on his show. I just mean I think in the future goes, you belong in a chair like that, sitting there, not being a sidekick. I'm happy you're on that show, but you deserve more, is what I'm saying.
Yes, Grand Censorship Speech Council. I can attest to what happened that day. That's how the only way I'm going to be behind desk like this in the future. Yes, I did say that, but at the time, in the context, it was a joke. I don't actually think that it was steel beams being melted by jet fuel. It was.
Or if you did one of those fun, like years ago, how they recreate the Civil War, but now they start recreating court hearings. You're like, yes, Anita Hill. You're just like recreating it. Like you're the guy who goes, you're a woman, you don't know.
Anita Hill.
She was my favorite lady of all my cases. Her, Roe versus Wade, those are my faves.
I'm sorry, Mr. Brown. I'm going to have to rule in favor of the Board of Education on this one.
What a weird ruling. Like all those people together, like, fuck this guy. His name's even Brown.
Yeah, they were like, hey, Williams wants to sue the school board. They're like, no. We've already got the perfect guy to represent all of us.
Yep. That's like what my favorite story ever. When it took me a long, when people put on Twitter or like Instagram and stuff, they're like, I was today years old when I learned this shit. Supposed to, like, other words, I didn't know this forever. It was like 2 years ago, but I was today years old 2 years ago when I found out that Rosa Parks was just a plant and someone else had been doing that. And they're like, no, you look more disheveled. You look more black. You'd be better. Not that she wasn't like a woman that was going through suffering like everyone else was that was black back then. But at the same time, another lady did that. And they're like, nah, you get on that bus and you do this. She was scripted like the WWE. And I'm like, what the fuck?
The woman who did it originally, wasn't she a pregnant single mother? And they were like, we want to make a big deal out of this. And she was like, no, like they'll drag me through the mud. I don't want to put us through that. And then they kind of planted Rosa Parks.
Forget her exactly, but there was something where she wanted to shield it.
Yeah.
And she wasn't doing it for publicity. She was doing it because she literally, it was either pregnant or some kind of disability. It was something where she could not get forward. And I learned this from Drunken History. So that's how white people get their information.
We're using the same source.
That's hilarious.
I figured we both got it from Drunken History. That was a great show while it lasted.
Brandon,
unless it's still on. But
have you considered doing a spinoff, right? Called Drunk Conspiracy Theories, where you just get drunk and explain like conspiracy theories that have come true?
Oh, that actually would probably be pretty hilarious, especially when you talk about Rosa Parks, because what comes to my mind is there's this really crazy fact out there that, Martin Luther King Jr. Was shot to death.
Oh, you mean junior, not senior? We're not talking about senior.
Yeah.
Right,
well, first of all, one of the
doctor,
crazy
right?
interesting thing is, the doctor allegedly. One of the crazy things.
Doctor of what?
Yeah, I know. It's
Thugonomics. What was he a doctor of?
Doctor.
Everybody jumped down Jill Biden's throat, but we just give Martin Luther King a pass.
I bet you Joe Biden has way more degrees than goddamn Martin. Because what college was he really going to? Grambling back then? What college let you in when you were black? That was that one
Temple?
school. Temple, yeah, and they've got good graduates. Boop, boop, I'm raping your wife. Temple's killing it.
So the United States government had to pay out the Martin Luther King family, like in the 90s. They had to pay out a bunch of money because they were found to be behind the shooting. Like it was proven in court. That's one crazy thing. And another crazy thing is he was shot. Originally, his room at that hotel was going to face inward, but then it was changed. N-word?
It was going to face N-word.
And it was changed to a I can't think of a funny word. A colored. No, it was changed to an outward facing room. And you know who made the call to change it? The lovely
dude who runs the
Reverend.
FBI.
No, the lovely Reverend Jesse Jackson.
He is lovely.
Oh shit!
Yeah. So yeah, man.
Of the Rainbow Coalition?
Yeah, these guys are all scumbags. These people in power. That's my view. I don't really think it's like black versus white. I think it's like more of like people.
Yeah, drunken conspiracy theory is a thing, dude.
Yeah, I don't drink a lot, but I would definitely.
It's a big hashtag, and there's a whole thing about.
How about stoned? What if we get them stoned?
That was actually a show off that. Off of what you call it, the drunken history. There was like stone history. I think Doug Benson was doing it for a little bit.
Just not stone.
How about heroin history?
There's a lot of crazy like hidden history. Like one thing I'll say that would probably be pretty triggering and crazy is that a lot of the people that we call African American that have dark skin were actually already here. It's like documented. Like half of I think it was the Seminole tribe was like black. Like they made their way here hundreds, maybe thousands of years before, and they were already populated. And they came here.
And Brandon, the funny part about that is they were actually supposed to be here 10 years earlier, but they're always late.
They're always late. And the other crazy gravel thing is like, how you're supposed to say African American. Well, Africanus was the name of the Roman general who conquered Africa. So when you say it's like another slave thing. It's just
yeah, that's fucking terrible.
Is that hilarious though?
Yeah.
There's Comic-Con. There should be Africon. Why is there not Africon? Like, were you Mexicon, Africon? They should have all of those.
They just found that footprint that they think pushes back like the date when humans were here originally, and kind of rules out the whole Bering Strait idea too, which is
now it's
nuts.
Bering gay.
Yeah, there's
that's
a
good.
lot.
I didn't get it at first. That's good.
There's a lot of
I tried.
Like megalithic structures that are here in North America, but they're just buried. There's this giant mound that covers like a pyramid structure, basically that would look like something you see in South America. That's in Illinois, and they just put like a highway around it. It's like, oh, nothing to see here, guys. Like, yeah. So I think there was probably like maybe a worldwide civilization before, and something happened, and there was like a reset. They're just not telling us about it or whatever. Who knows? But yeah.
So there was this country in the east, about as far east as you can go, and a virus came out of it, right?
Yeah.
And then they made all the citizens wear masks and stay inside and get a vaccine, and they completely wiped out the American history.
In that same country, they have a movie always where there's a dinosaur or a Godzilla, if you will, and he fights different things. Now, I want him to fight a woman that's nagging all the time called Megalithic. Like you said, and she's just large. So Godzilla's trying to have a barbecue with his friends when Megalithic comes over on the phone and goes, "Excuse me, 911. I don't like the fact they're having a barbecue." And that's the entire movie. They just shut them down.
They're playing loud rap music. I heard the N-word a bunch of times.
I heard a lot, and it wasn't coming just from my car or me.
It was coming from actual ends.
Actual ends. By the way, Bobby, new t-shirt. Actual ends. And then we put like when you drive through the inner cities on a school, like somebody will do like graffiti art of like famous black people, and three of them. You're like, oh look, it's Martin Luther King and it's Farrakhan, and it's like, who's that guy? I think that's Nat Turner. I'm not sure. Or it's Don King. They have the same hair, and you can't fucking tell. That's Frederick Douglass. It's like we should get all of them on the back, on the front, and say the real end.
The real ends. Just spell E-N-S.
We put the N in independent. Independence Day, where it's just Will Smith comes back pissed. Like, this ruined me. I thought I was gonna be something. Now it's Independence Day. But Bobby, I know I started on, then we went through a weird thing, but there was issues last week. We're not gonna get into it, but Eastside Day, but everything was good and everything's kosher, everything's good. That's a show. My brother will need to know. He loves that show. He's worried that it might go away. It's there. It's staying. It's great.
So Steve told this story on I believe it was Safe Space, where he woke up from a blackout, like came to.
Yeah.
And was fighting with his girlfriend. And the reason why they were fighting is apparently in his blackout, he said, "Look, I'm trying to find a wife, and I don't know if that's you."
Wow.
Yeah.
And they live together. So Eastside Dave's kind of what I imagine like Steve's household life was for the next couple of weeks,
Okay, so there's tension, but
you think
you
it's
can
okay.
work it out.
you think it's okay. You're probably going to get through it, but you don't want to like get too cocky.
Right. But they also, because at the end of the day, they really do love each other. They could work it out.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just a thing of like miscommunication at the end of the day. That's all.
That's me. Miscommunication. I be talking to all the motherfuckers all day long. That's got to be a tranny's name, right? That wouldn't be as a regular black. Miscommunication. That'd be what do you call them now? Transgender.
Women, apparently. Apparently, you just call them women.
No.
Gender dysphoria.
I don't think that's what it is either.
I mean,
I'm not saying no to be a dick, but they're not.
Hey,
just
Brandon,
women.
we'll talk
They're
off
more
mic because I'm right there with you, buddy. But I don't know what you're talking about.
They're more,
No.
but they're not just women because just women are. That's what they are. Just women. A woman that used to be a man. Like the joke's been done a million times, but like that's one that talks less. That's a great thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think honestly, there is something to that. I think there are a small percentage of people that are born either like hermaphroditic or where there is some confusion. But I think what happens is it gets glamorized and then people will do anything for attention. So they're like, yeah, I'm a guy too. I'm a girl too. I think that's really,
that's what's happening. It's becoming a trend, but it's a trend where you're cutting off your cock, which is not a good trend.
That's what I'm saying. So I, not to be hateful, I think there are some people out there that just like everything, there's a little bit of truth in all these grand lies, right? That's what gets to be. It's like a fish hook. The worm is a real worm, but that hook is like, that's going to get you on the dinner plate.
Like there are a few people on Twitter who, when they write, hey, what are you having for lunch? Care. But most of them are doing that so the algorithm gets picked up. So you write all your shit and share your GIF of your lunch, and they don't really care. It's the same thing. Most of them, some people actually identify as someone who cares, but most of them do not.
And at the end of the day, I don't really care what you do or how you identify or whatever. It's when you like force it down people's throats that this is right, other ideology is wrong. If you screw up, you're canceled. Like, you know what I mean? Just be who you want to be, but don't force your ideology on other people.
I'm happy we're covering this.
Down to me.
This was going to be the third story, but let's go right to it because it goes right into what we got. Ready?
All right.
ACLU apologizes for changing RBG's quote to delete the words women and she in it. The American Civil Liberties Union's executive director apologized after the nonprofit was ripped for changing a quote from the late women's rights champion, Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg, to be gender neutral. So this woman who's known as like the leader of women, the one they all look up, like the woman that fought for everything, some morons decided, hey, let's change up her wording. Let's keep Huck Finn with the N-word, but let's change this lady a bit. So the ACLU had used one of Ginsburg's famous pro-choice quotes in the December 18th tweet to pay tribute to her on her first anniversary of her death. They were immediately slammed for it because they were replacing the words woman, she, and her. The ACLU's director, Anthony Romero, told the New York Times Monday he regretted the tweet and blamed it on the organization's digital team. We won't be altering people's quotes, he said. It's a mistake among the digital team. Changing quotes is not something we ever did. He already throws them on the goddamn bus. Romero, however, suggested that Ginsburg would have likely supported the sentiment if she was still alive. Having spent time with Justice Ginsburg, this is him saying this, I would like to believe that if she were alive today, she would encourage us to evolve our language to encompass a broader vision of gender, identity, and sexuality, Romero told the outlet. ACLU has not deleted the original tweet. The original tweet is the decision whether or not to bear a child is central to and they just put person in parentheses life to parentheses their well-being and dignity. When the government controls that decision for parentheses people, parentheses they are being treated as less than a fully adult human responsible for parentheses their own choices. Literally half the words in it were changed for what? I would have never, as a white straight man, I would have never read that quote. It's for women. It's about women. It's a woman's right to bear children. It's not their right. I shouldn't yell until we get to that part. The decision whether or not to bear a child is in person's life. We already read that thing there. Ginsburg's original quote reads, we got that there. Many of Twitter slammed ACLU at the time, insisting Ginsburg would have been horrified by the changes. You're literally erasing her as you write this, said somebody on Twitter. Greg Scott, Senior Vice President of Communications of Alliance Defending Freedom, tweeted the ACLU literally erasing women. And by the way, because we always give credit to where it's due when they actually do okay. Emily Crane, who's usually the one we don't get mad at when she writes things, not a bad story. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Isn't the ACLU director for blaming the fucking digital team? Fuck you. If you're in charge, I manage at a store. We all have jobs in life. No matter what, if the peons under you do something, it's your job to make sure they're doing. To yell at the digital team for doing an editing thing, somebody would have to make that choice. You're taking a famous quote from one of the most powerful in a drive for women's history, one of the most powerful people ever, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. You're just gonna fucking change her quote without running that by somebody? I don't fucking think so. The fact that you're tweeting quotes by her means your whole thing is pussy is proud or whatever the fuck you are. You're definitely gonna be talking to your dude, which, by the way, Anthony Romero maybe shouldn't be in charge of the ACLU. Maybe a woman should. How about that? We already talked about how shitty Italians are. Not Bobby, everybody else, but Bobby's the one chosen one. That's fine. Is it the digital team? What if they really did do this? What if the digital team really did take this? And the guys like Anthony Romero was like, I can't fuck this up. I told him to tweet a fucking RBG quote. It's an easy thing to do. You just grab a sweet one, you throw it out there, and then they fucked with it. Is it them? Is it Ruth Bader Ginsburg for not coming back from the dead and haunting these fucking people? If people really can come back from the dead, why isn't she doing that? Is it Twitter for not making more of an outrage? I hear about the stupidest. I'm not on Twitter anymore, but in social media, I would have heard about this more than when I had to do my search an hour ago on the New York Post and found this article. Why haven't I seen more of it? This should be all over. This should be news stories. We're changing. If someone changed Martin Luther King's quotes, if I had a dream, just said, they have a dream, they'd be like, fuck you. They have a dream. No, it's him, one guy, because he's a black guy to let it go. Or you choose anybody you want. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Brandon, you go first.
I would definitely say, yeah, the director, that guy Ramirez, because at the end of the day, he's the boss. He has to take the fall. So he could have just said, listen, my bad here. Doesn't look good, but, we're a little retarded.
They're
Sorry
bad.
about that.
You could have said they're bad. Use
the
words still.
And, I want to reference Steve Harvey here because I remember one time he made a really big mistake on television. He called them wrong Miss Universe. He announced her and everyone started to celebrate. And then he had to take it back, but he took personal responsibility, and that takes a lot. And even if it wasn't this guy's fault, it's like, dude, you're the leader. That's your job. You got to take responsibility either way. Even if it was a digital team, you could have explained the situation after, but you got to say, you know what, I fucked up here. We screwed up. This is what happened. It's not like, oh, it was them as the digital team. They're fucking retarded. No, you can't just do that.
First of all, Steve Harvey, you're welcome. You didn't think that was coming, but yeah, we like that. I think Steve Harvey should be in charge of the ACLU. I think that's what he should do.
There you go.
Steve Harvey should be in charge of a lot of things. Steve Harvey is also a very underrated comedian. I know he's still famous, but Steve Harvey, I've laughed every time he's on it. I've never laughed harder at a game show than I have at his natural ability to be on fucking Family Feud.
Oh God. Yeah.
I haven't smoked weed in a long time, but if I ever did again or took an edible, I would take an edible and then I would go on Family Feud on YouTube and just put Family Feud Steve Harvey highlights and just laugh. And that's one of the funniest fucking things you could ever fucking watch. Bobby, who's the piece of shit?
Is it possible it's everybody in the story?
Yeah.
Because you're absolutely right. If you criticize privately, you praise publicly. So you come out and you go, listen, we screwed up. Okay. We were trying to be progressive. We were trying to support our values, but in doing so, we overstepped the line. We realized that we won't do it again. You say we, you know what I mean? You take it as a team, right? There come for that. The ACLU in general is an oxymoron statement. They are a group that says they're the civil liberties union that spends their whole time fighting people's civil liberties. Mm-hmm. So they're pieces of shit. Ruth Bader Ginsburg, important American icon, great hero. Why do we allow 90-year-old cunts to make decisions though? Okay. People who can't possibly fathom what the fuck is going on in society shouldn't be the most powerful entity of change in the whole country.
Why do we let 75-year-old men lead this country?
No. Trust me. I'm right there with you on that one. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So again, like what she did, understand what she stands for, but the whole premise of these old fucks who were old enough to see slavery making decisions and being I don't think we need to restrict Twitter. They should be allowed to censor what they want. Birds are free. You know what I mean? That's not what we fucking need. So they're all pieces of shit, except for Emily. Good fucking story.
It was actually one of the better articles we've read.
Nailed it. Yeah.
She nailed it.
We should try to get her on the podcast.
So I'm sure she'd love to be on. We just read her stories too.
Yeah. We're like, Emily, come on now. What the fuck were you thinking on this one?
I wonder if we can get her to bash the other fucking people that we read.
Dude, I'm telling you, we probably could. Most journalists I like to think are like Bill Schultz.
We should, you know what we should try to hit her? We should have Bill hit her up. See if maybe he can get the connection. You're 100% right, though. I think the problem with today's society is that we now live too long. And a long time ago, the elders, you stayed in until you died, but you died at like 50 or 60. You know what I mean? We didn't expect 90-year-olds to be on the fucking Supreme Court justice. I think several of them. We didn't expect presidents to be 75 in their first fucking term with fucking Alzheimer's. Like, we didn't. He's obviously bad. I'm sorry, but Joe Biden's obviously got dementia. There's something fucking wrong. And the person he's supposed to be propping him up, holy shit, she's even worse, and she doesn't know what to do. She can't even answer a question about Mexicans. When you ask her what to say, I don't know. She just fucking runs away.
It really does feel like, I know we made the analogy last show, but when they let the special kids score a touchdown or hit a 3-pointer, like they did a lot of things they don't normally do in elections to get this guy in there, and everybody's just like, that's actually just sad and not as fun as we thought it would be.
It was just the anything but Trump mentality they had. They didn't really think about that. Maybe it should be something that's better, not just anything but it's not better. It's way worse. But I don't want to get too political on this one, but
I just want to add one quick thing, and it's because a lot of people, and I agree, and I see why you would think that they're so silly and crazy and like might have dementia. But let me ask you this, right? No other American president has been able to get away with so much, right? I'll just leave it at that. And he's acting like he's crazy. What if it's just an act? Because they know if they act crazy, then they're not accountable. Because you know who else pretended to be crazy? Ronald Reagan. Then he was never held accountable. But anyway, I'm just saying, I agree.
I agree. And the Reagan
act.
thing is 100% true. And Nixon, to get heat off him, started doing the more animated shit after everything happened. You played his character in. But Brandon, I believe that this was actually the difference. I think this is a Weekend at Bernie's scenario. I think this really is a bunch of people wanted Trump out so bad. They were trying to prop out anyone else. Bernie they thought Bernie was going to be that guy, and they realized, oh shit, Bernie's got too much fight in him. He's not going to do exactly what we want to do. Fuck you, Bernie. They tried to find somebody. They went through all the women they could. They couldn't control Hillary. They're like, fuck it, get the old puppet out. And they break him out because he's been there. He's a lifer forever, but he's too fucking old now. And they put him up there, but he's not making a decision at all.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah.
No, I mean, like more so than ever. I mean, I know most presidents don't make decisions, but this one, I really feel like it's a Weekend at Bernie's things where they're just propping that motherfucker. Reagan knew what the fuck he was doing. If Reagan had more decision making.
I'm actually, hang on. I'm intrigued by this. Brandon, am I reading you right? You are a conspiracy guy? A little bit.
I know he does a lot of research, but he's not a conspiracy guy.
Yeah, this is what I'll say right about that, because I think that
I realize that is like the N word.
No, people. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about how I look. I just want what I've come to realize is the quote unquote conspiracy movement. Like if you think of Alex Jones and all this stuff, a lot of what they say is true. But the thing is, they don't ever give you answers or solutions. So it's another trap. So if you wake up to this other level of what might be going on, and I found that, listen, there's a lot of evidence in it. It really just divides people, but you could find all these things. But what happens is it really puts you in this despair mode because you feel out of control more than ever. But the secret is you have the control. You have all the control in your life. It's just how you view it. So if you can get out of viewing things from despair, and I found the only really important rabbit holes are the ones who go down to know yourself. If you want to learn anything, just learn about yourself and your personality types and your tendencies and your flaws, and work on yourself. And that's what's going to help you see the bigger picture. And it doesn't matter really who's controlling. But yeah, I guess you could say I'm a conspiracy person because I'm open to things. Okay. And I've seen things with my own eyes. Like I've been in the military. I know how it really works. Like I have friends that just through weird synchronicities that have like captured things on video that like journalists talking to police officers about staging a certain event. And then they like just find a random guy out of the crowd at a protest, beat him up and take his kids away, lock him up. And then 5 minutes later, let him go. But it was all like I see what you're saying. Yeah. It's not really what we're told. But again, if you just buy into the Alex Jones thing, then you look crazy. and B, you just sit home all day and buy all his fucking products that he says are going to save you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
The way
That's a
I would
good thought.
explain Brandon is this. To me, a conspiracy, not even saying theorist, a conspiracy person is someone who's doing it to have it be their personality. I'm a big JFK guy. I'm a big grassy knoll motherfucker. I believe the earth is this or that, whatever. Brandon is, the older he gets, the more he's intrigued by life's questions. And if one gets a hold of Brandon, like an autistic puppy, he's got to chase that thing through the wind and ignore everything else in life until he finds enough to make him happy with the answer. He doesn't care if you aren't happy with the answer, but also isn't mad at you if you're not. And that's the big difference. A conspiracy theorist gets so caught up on their team that Brandon will have a 20-minute conversation with you about what he learned, but will also listen to your points that maybe you haven't learned about. And all he'll say is maybe do a little more research, and you might come to the same conclusion as me, or maybe you won't. And that's where the difference is. Brandon's not on one thing where he just stands there and goes,
I've also exactly. Thank you very much, Pat. That's a great observation. I couldn't have said it better myself.
You're fucking welcome.
And then also, I'd like to say that I
usually say you're batshit crazy, but I was nice today.
I find that there's two sides to everything. You get like JFK, you get the official story, right? Is Lee Harvey Oswald. Then there's the conspiracy, right? That says, oh, it was the FBI or it was the CIA or the mob. And then there's that third story when you look into it and you see who Lem was, and like JFK probably had a gay lover that lived with him, and he's probably just an actor, and he might not even been killed that day, or if he was, it was just all a show. And that is like the third level, and that's when you get to like what's really going on in the world. And then when you start to talk about that, though, people like, especially JFK, like this is older people, that's their icon. But when you just look at it from the backwards thing, it was such a unifying event. Everybody got together, just like that other event that happened almost 20 years ago when 2 buildings fell. Everyone got together and stood behind the government and did whatever the hell they wanted, right? And then look what happened since then, you know? So I'm not going to say, was it a conspiracy? I don't know, but look what happened since then, guys. Like, you know?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah. And now everybody's like, JFK, how dare you? Or we went to the moon, how dare you? Oh, don't touch that one. You know, it's like, oh, yeah. Anyway.
I just wanted you to know that I was coming from a place of trying. I think you might understand this, not because you look like you may have participated in it. Have you read The Men Who Stare at Goats?
Oh, no, I watched the movie, though.
Okay. I would encourage you to read it. I like John Ronson, though. I'm kind of a sucker for him, but
I'll check it out.
They do a lot about sound. Like basically they move past psychics. They were like, that's not going to work, but sound manipulation. And you've seen the earpiece clip of Biden for sure, right? Like if you really wanted to think, they could be putting a sound through his hearing aid that's jumbling his speech, making it harder to concentrate. Like we absolutely know that technology exists. It's been confirmed by the CIA. You may not be off base here. Like if they want him to look a little crazy so there could be a power grab, or maybe they lose some of the power of the federal, executive branch and move some of it over to the senators, people like Pelosi. Or,
I could give you a quick breakdown that might make this make sense for you about what I think is going on, right? And it'll be safe enough so it's not crazy.
Please do.
Okay, so what happened when everybody in 2020 shut everything down because of the cold? Now, I was saying years before that everything was going to crash. I'm like, guys, this isn't sustainable. It's going to crash. Well, I was right, but in a way, but it was a controlled, it was a controlled demolition, right? So what happened was people knew this wasn't sustainable, but they had to still manage it. So what happened was all these businesses had to close and had to restrict and had to cut to half. So then most of them couldn't make it. So they immediately got cut out. It was kind of like a consolidation. It reminded me a lot of when these consultants come into like a big corporation and will cut things down. And that's kind of what happened. And that's where we're left right now. You have all these giant corporations that are killing it, and all the mom and pops are just like smothering under all these stupid regulations that, in my opinion, don't really make sense. One day changes this, at your table, you're fine. But if you're walking around, so all this nonsense that all the big boys either don't have to deal with or fine with. So really what I saw, if you look back and take a big picture, it was just a really controlled demolition, and that needed to happen,
It makes sense. I get what you're coming from. I do want to point out one thing. We just haven't moved past, we just moved past all the ridiculous shit we did at the beginning that everybody was making fun of. and nobody's apologized for. Like, remember all the jokes like, watch out, guys, COVID can get you only after 9 p.m. Like, nobody ever came out and was like, our bad. That was kind of stupid. In fact, if we had kept things open 24 hours, we probably could have dispersed crowds a little bit. Go ahead, Pat. I'm
bingo.
sorry.
No, it's fine. You know who really believes that? Silk City Hot Sauce. Hey, man, they are all about learning and doing things. And they've learned about a new sauce they have. It's called Erotic Fever. Erotic Fever is the sweetest bite with a fiery finish. Fire roasted habaneros and Vermont maple syrup provide the most wonderful flavors. It's got roasted red peppers, carrots, garlic, salt, balance it out. And they don't skimp on the maple. It's truly one of a kind. I'm fired up because I've got one coming in the mail. It's the newest sauce they have. But they've also
that's not to be confused with the hot sauce I pitched to them, which was Karen Feehan's Erotic Fever, and it was about her herpes.
Yes, not that one. That one's got less syrup. That's what I hear. That's the only difference.
That one's only available every so often. It kind of pops up for a week or two, and then you think it's
right when you think it's gone, another bottle shows up, and you're like, "Holy shit, there it is!" But if you like Erotic Fever, they've got that. I also got that elixir coming in that I don't ever get sick, but I was like, "Oh, it'd be cool to try something like that." I'm gonna try that one as well. They've got all this. My favorite Aztec Attack. Bobby loves Badass Jew. I love the fucking Kevin Dombrowski, the Just Joking sauce. Whatever ones you like, get on over to SilkCityHotSauce.com. Use the promo code POS. Save 15% and get yourself some erotic fucking fever and send it to your friends. Don't get herpes, get erotic fever.
Jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams, but Ghost Whisper sauce does.
Yes, without a doubt. They actually said that they were trying to fill that plane with Ghost Whisper sauce, but the fact that Silk City Hot Sauce didn't exist yet was the only reason why 9/11 had to do this. The set, they call it Plan 2. It was actually supposed to be just hot sauce on the building and make everyone happy, but no, then it became fiery death.
Oh, I thought that was inspired when people jumped out the window. Their screams were called Ghost Whispers.
Excuse me, there were no screams. There was one man who said, "Let's roll."
I meant in the towers.
Remember when everybody quoted him?
Yeah, dude.
And they all lived. Remember when they all lived to say that quote? You know, and that black box couldn't have had a fake quote. I'm not going to go conspiracies again, but holy shit. If you're about to die, you don't do some fucking shitty 90s Seagal quote. Let's roll. That means that guy was saying that forever. Like whenever they're going to, hey, you want to go to McDonald's? Let's roll. Hey, you want to go to the casino later? Let's roll. Hey, you want to stop those fucking pilots? Let's roll. You don't just, hey, is that handicap guy coming with us? Yeah, he's in his wheelchair. All right, let's roll. Like, that's what they're doing. Hey, you see that fat girl? What's that in her side? Those are rolls. Like, he had to be saying it all the time. There's no way he just decided to say that before. And then he didn't even do it. He died.
No, I mean, I went to that memorial. They did it. They saved him.
You went to the memorial of the Let's Roll guy?
Yeah, dude.
He was there?
He wasn't. You heard the phone call, though. It was a phone call to his wife. She knew she was going down and recorded it.
As Brandon likes to say, maybe an actress.
What you should do, listen, I'm not going to make claims, but look into the type of plane it was. Look into if it even had phones on it, and then look into cell phone technology at the time. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't
take your memoriam and shove it up your assio.
Yeah,
take that, Bobby.
I don't.
That's why I like having Brandon on. You can't just throw any horse shit out there.
And fighter jets were scrambled in the area, right?
Actually, if something like that happened, fighter jets would have already taken those planes out automatically. But there was a real-time exercise going on that involved hijacked planes just coincidentally on the same time. And this is all, you can go on the Pentagon's website and they'll tell you that they're running a live exercise. And there's actually video where you hear somebody calling in, say there's a hijacking, and someone says, "Is this part of the exercise?" So yeah, that's why I just listen. It's tough to look into, especially if you have a lot of emotional investment in it. You know what I mean? But this is what I think. At the end of the day, I was telling my friend this today. I was hanging out with my good friend I haven't hung out with in a while, my friend Dion. And I was like, it's all about how you view yourself in life. Are you a victim? Are you not a victim? You know what I mean? And I'm not a victim. No matter what, who thinks they control the world or whatever, I know that they want me to be in despair. And just like a poker player, if I might not know what my opponent has in his hand exactly, but if I sense that he doesn't want me to go all in, I'm like, I'm all in. I don't care. Fuck it. I'm all in. And that's how I feel about this. That's why I do comedy. That's why I laugh at everything.
You've got to be happy to fight the man. God damn, is that an inspiring message?
Yeah. And you don't even have to fight.
I love that.
That's the thing. You just have to have a good day because
you're fighting. You're fighting the system, dude. That's fucking sick.
Yeah. And every way that I can try to like get around this silly system, because I feel the system has to exist. I used to be like this anarchist. I still believe anarchy would be the way, and anarchy is not what, you know, they would say like crazy randomness. But what I mean is like
Michael Malice. Anarchy.
Yeah. Okay. So I used to agree more with Michael Malice, but I'd love to have a conversation with him now because I think that government is just this necessary evil that exists for the people who need it. And if you're somebody who doesn't need it, if you just start to live your life away from them and just don't give your time and attention to it, by hating it, you're giving your attention to it too. You just let it go and you do your own thing. You could just get away from it because there's other ways. They leave loopholes in the system. Could it be to get around taxes? You could do for donations. You could do a lot of stuff. But the thing is, you're not going to have this big, important, rich lifestyle. You have to live meekly, but you could still be happy and have a fun life and not be a slave to the government, whatever. You know what I mean? But yeah. It's all state of mind.
It's kind of like that idea that you can't have good without evil. Like if everything was good, the worst good's going to be evil. So you have to have the government to fight back against to keep, or otherwise either extreme's bad.
And you know who's the most evil thing in the world? Facebook banned Scenic Canal over obscene name, dubs it hate speech. Facebook sent UK users into a tizzy after prohibiting posts that mention a picturesque canal in Norfolk, England, on account of its seemingly dirty name. The body of water in question is the Cockshoot Dyke, a spot that reportedly popular with anglers and sightseers due to its scenic views. People found it hilarious, saying it should be called the waterway that shall not be named. Steve Burgess, administrator of the Love the Norfolk Broads Facebook page, told The Sun. The fishing and gift shop owner said the issue first came to light after a member posted about parking her boat in the profanely named canal, which reportedly leads to a place called the Cockshoot Broad. Facebook promptly removed the post, citing that it contained, quote-unquote, violence and sexual content. According to Burgess, the social media giant has since banned any mention of the name and classified its algorithms as hate speech. Burgess, for one, believes that the measure is a bit heavy-handed. They have put 2 and 2 together and got 58. You gotta fucking laugh, he said, adding that the ban is ironic as Facebook contains so much that is really obscene or violent or sexual, but nothing is done. Interestingly enough, the name isn't even inappropriate in British vernacular. Cockshoot is actually a hunting term that refers to the pursuit of a wading bird called the woodcock. Meanwhile, dike in this context simply means a barrier used to regulate or hold back water from a river, lake, or even the ocean. Nonetheless, the business owner claims that anglers were banned from even mentioning fishing sites at the dike at Cockshoot Broad and that he himself was prevented from posting Facebook pics for a full day. Other places that have fallen afoul of the algorithm include Plymouth Hoe in Devon and Devil's Dyke in West Sussex. No word as whether a post about the notorious Austrian town of Fucking, now named Fugging, received the same treatment. However, despite the deemed the digital prohibition a bit Big Brother-esque, Burgess says it does make sense to protect the millions of people who use the networking site. This isn't the first time a seemingly innocuous post has landed someone in social media. In July, a Detroit woman said she was temporarily banned from Facebook for hate speech after commenting on a meme labeling the opposite sex as dumb. I don't know why they threw that last part in. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it Facebook? Is it fucking Facebook or is it Facebook? I'm sorry. Even the guy who's in charge of the fucking little area was cool about it. It's fucking fake. Well, to tell you what, he was fucking, he goes, I get it. We're supporting. It's the name of fucking, it's silly. What happened to silly? It's funny. Cockshoot Broad. It's not shooting a woman. It's not all those things. It's not about dicks. It's a body of water. The fact that in that article, and by the way, once again, doing well, that's Ben Cost, who usually sucks. That wasn't a bad article. It was silly and fun. He probably got excited about Beavis and Butthead for dumb words, but Ben Cost actually stayed in the line. He didn't put his dumb opinion in, anything like that. He doesn't like Facebook too much, but I'm fine with that. But the simple fact that we can't just laugh at silly things anymore and take everything so seriously, the fact that Facebook can't look at that and go, it's a body of water. It's the name of it. That's a person's business. You're taking away from money because you're afraid someone's going to see Cockshoot Broad. Yeah, the town of Fucking. I want to move there. I didn't know that was a town, but I want to live in fucking Australia. Not in real Australia. Fuck that. But fucking Australia, that's fine. Or Austria. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Bobby, go first.
Fuck anybody who says the British don't have a good sense of humor, by the way.
Cockshoot Broad.
Yeah, like they just have fun. They're like, this is silly. They don't get a good chuckle. For me, it's the guy who talked about his town because he was cool up until the point where he was like, "Nah, I get the censorship. It needs to happen." Fuck you, man. Take a stand.
He's a businessman. He's got to he's got to play both sides.
He
Of the
should
con.
be a
I'm sure it's not good money in the cock
businessman.
shoot.
He should be a businessman. You know what I mean? Like Jay-Z.
But he's an English guy. He's probably drunk after. He probably was getting drunk during the conversation. It was just like, hello, and then everything's all right.
Tea means
Reach down,
vodka, right? They just drink when they're.
You
they say
think it's
tea time.
him? You think it's Burgess?
reach down between your legs, grab your nuts, and tell the guy, "Fuck Facebook."
Yeah.
Ben
about all
Cost
the
had
other-
to explain what a dyke was because people are that stupid.
Yeah, but what about all the other, like, what about all the names of Pennsylvania towns? Blue Balls, Intersex, Intercourse. Like, are we going to ban all those names? Because,
Altoona.
yeah, fucking.
As a kid, I remember when we would drive through, like, in the Brandon knows the area, you know, Bobby, but like in the Meriden, Middletown, Wallingford area, that whole area is called Middlesex County. And I would laugh all the time. And the worst was there was a sign, the hospital, I believe, is not called it anymore, but it was called Gaylord Hospital. And I'm like, as a kid, I'm like, I'm not going there. My mom's like, you go, it's not what, stop it. It's not Gaylord. I was a kid, not even knowing, going, hello. Like, I'm going to that hospital. And it was right near the town of Gaylordsville, which is a small little town inside of Wallingford, which is funny because Wallingford's the home of the Klan, but inside there is Gaylordsville. So I kind of fucking get it. But they were just silly, dumb things. My mom would just say, shut up, that's stupid, and then move on. And that was it. She didn't try to ban me from going near hospitals because one was called that. It's just a dumb fucking thing. Just have fun in life. The fact that you're going to, I got in trouble. I got a warning one time on Facebook because I wrote the term white trash. And they're like, that could hurt a race of people. I got a message that those told me it was a race. White trash is not a race unless you're racing your Winnebagos to see who gets to the fucking trailer home. It's not a fucking race. Who's the piece of shit, Brandon?
I have to say I do agree with Bobby here. That guy should have took more of a stand, but I think definitely Facebook is a piece of shit, and then people who would just even care about this are pieces of shit. Like like you said, who gives a fuck? Have fun with it. But I think what I wanted to point out here is that by Facebook just banning it actually brought more attention to it. If they just didn't do anything, nobody would know. Like a few people in Cockshoot Dyke would know. You know, but now how many people know? So I think they kind of knew what they were doing here. They're trying to get themselves some publicity, you know. No publicity, bad publicity, you know.
Do they call lesbians dykes because they're annoying wet holes? Is that where it came from?
I think so.
Or this thing that gets in my way?
Because cocks definitely don't shoot dykes.
Was it men getting mad if what women wanted to fuck each other and not them? So they're like, dykes, they just get in your way of getting wet.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why it's called that. Maybe it really is like a woke thing.
And also like cocks, that's not correct, is cocks definitely don't shoot dykes.
Oh, and by the way, yeah, there was one I didn't.
Broads.
Ben Cost might have got mad at him. Bobby might have, because it did start the whole article with a pun, and I ignored the first pun.
Good.
Because it said,
No. Ben got to win. Don't do this to him.
I gotta,
you know what I mean?
I gotta do it. It's a band dyke.
I kind of like that.
It's not the worst.
No, I kind of like that.
It's
We're
not
gonna get
bad.
Ben
It's
the win
subtle.
on
He
this one.
capitalized dyke to make sure you got it. It actually was a
it's very
good lead. And then he didn't push it any farther. He went into the article. But it's a band dyke is not bad.
No, I think it's solid.
I think for some reason the New York Post is stepping it up today. I have no idea why. But Bobby, I've got one more story I want to do. But do you want to do one of your games with Brandon before we do that?
Yeah. Do you have anything prepared?
No.
Okay, so we won't do 15 or 19.
No.
All right, Brandon, you're missing out because normally we make you look at slightly pornographic images of women that are either 15 or 19, and then guess if they're 15 or 19. So you're lost tonight. My bad.
Oh, wait, Frank was way too excited to play that game.
Frank also nailed every single one.
Frank knew who Charlie the Moon.
He knew who 3 of the 4 pictures we showed him were, Brandon.
Of 15-year-old girls. Frank is so like Brandon doesn't watch TV or pay attention to main event. Like I could have talked about like Gabby, what's her name, and Brandon probably would have been like, "Who's that?" Like Brandon doesn't know about any like topical things, but Frank is so like a Jewish woman knows all the world gossip so fucking much.
It was weird.
He's like, I live near the Dominican. Like, yes, he thought the father's name was Charlie, but besides that, he knew exactly who the fuck she was, which is crazy.
But so do you know Frank then, Brandon?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you know his pranking background.
Mm-hmm.
We are actually
Brandon's known Frank as long as I have. From like when we met him together at Joker's Wild, so he's known him a long time. So
nice. So we're actually producing a show together, right? A prank show. It's going to be like kind of a mockumentary, but it's anyway. The idea is we're going to have a movie, right? And it's a horror movie about like a serial rapist who just captures all these like 19-year-old cheerleaders at some SEC school and then just brutally rapes them. It's going to have like the gore of Saw. That's the movie we're going to tell them. But really what we're doing is filming a prank, which is that we're going to bring in somebody to play the villain. And we're going to explain that he's a method actor. And he's one of those method actors who just refuses to come out of character until the movie's over. And so I guess this would be perfect since, you know, Frank, would you be willing to step in and play that role behind the scenes? And the whole time it's like, you just have to act sweet and try to get them to like hang out with you. And they know. And obviously you won't do anything. It's a prank show, but do you think this could go viral and are you in? Because I feel like this is actually a pretty good idea.
I'm down for that. It'd be hilarious.
All right. Can you kind of give us a taste of what your method acting rapist would be like?
Oh my God. So I'm supposed to be this guy who lures all these girls into a thing to rape them and kill them.
Yeah, but you
gotta be cool.
Yeah, you're more of a Ted Bundy. Less of a Silence of the Lambs.
I think you're more. See, if I was doing it, I would channel Matthew McConaughey from Dazed and Confused.
Yeah, that's actually perfect.
That's the character I would be going for. Like,
bro.
Make those weird little jokes that are like that redhead girl, and he was like being nice but also being a dick, but like making her go like, why is he even paying attention to me? Oh, I need his attention. Like that shit.
Yeah, I like that. All right.
You gonna do? I thought Bray would just go, all right.
I think that'd be hilarious. I don't know if I could. You want me to just like go into a character and try to do it?
Pretend Pat's like one of the girls hanging out on the set afterwards.
It's cold out, Brandon.
Well, you know, baby.
Well, you can't go, baby. I'm already running. I'm running. You can't go, baby. I'm running. The first thing you have to do in this is to make sure you establish that everyone else is a creep. That's the key to this, is that when you're doing this, you're saying to everybody, hey, I'm going to go. Everyone else is inside. They're all being weird. And you kind of ignore and you walk away. And then they're like, wait, why are you going out there? It's like, I'm just getting a weird vibe. I don't want to insult any of your friends. That's wrong. I hate talking bad about people. I just get a vibe that, I don't know, they have weird intentions. That's not me. I kind of have a vibe where I like to stare at the moon. Next thing you know, they're outside with you and they're in the van.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it one more time.
Or Brandon, you can just do your thing where you tell people you're a wizard because you're going to get some Wiccan puss.
Yeah, that's actually, I could use occult.
Carol, you talk like a lady a bunch. You got all that.
Yeah.
All right. Andy, it's cold outside.
Well, you know, I prefer just to be outside and alone anyway. I don't know.
Doesn't it get lonely being alone? Do you want some company?
Yeah, I like to be alone though. You don't like to be alone? Are you afraid to be alone?
I don't know. I was always left alone as a kid, and then when I'm around people, they want to be around me. But then sometimes they all of a sudden say they want to push me away. But you brought me in. You made me feel vulnerable. But now I don't know what to do. Can you help me?
I mean, I think if you're afraid of being alone, that's a big red flag we could talk about. You know, I think it's just because of what happened to you. Oh, that's just my
period. It's not a red flag.
And scene. I think you nailed it, dude.
You're welcome. Oh, you meant him. I thought Pat, I nailed it as babbling lady.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I
wanted to murder you myself. Now. It's like, you're making this easy for me, lady.
That's your rape defense. Be that lady. Nobody will fuck you.
Yeah, no jury would even acquit.
That's the perfect move. Like a
girl.
girl like that would do. Like within 2 seconds, she tells you her life story, and she's like, "What? I don't even know your name. Tell me your name." All right, one more story.
One more game. So, Brandon, one thing that's been going viral is alternative comedy shows, right? You've seen that on YouTube, like clips of stupid things. One thing Frank participated in was Paid or Pain. He got tased by some BDSM thing. And another hot topic's been cancel culture for when people do things that are racist, particularly comedians. So I think what we should do, right, is have a similar to Paid or Pain style alternative comedy show called Pass or Passed. And what it is we take a group of blood members and you tell the joke that was deemed racist in front of them. If they laugh, you get a pass. If they don't, you know the alternative. What do you think? And do you have any jokes that you would like to put through the past or past that game?
Oh man, that's a good question. I think that's a great idea because I think if you can get people to laugh that you're making fun of, that it's fine. You know, I think this whole victim narrative thing is just like you're just trying to say that people can't handle a joke. That's a bigger insult than calling them a word or, you know, making fun of them. So yeah, I'm down for that stuff. I'm just trying to think of a joke that it would be, I don't know.
Well, my biggest fear is one of my jokes is a little racy, but it involves a lot of spelling. So I'm worried they wouldn't find the humor in it because they would have to do the spelling.
I think if you opened with that,
that's the joke
the
I was going to
ones that
open with.
wouldn't get it, the ones that will get it are like, fuck this guy. But the ones that wouldn't, like, that's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly.
I would open with
funny.
the classic, what did the black kid get for Christmas? My bike.
My bike.
I did take your bike.
As a kid, my dad always taught us that the best joke ever was to say, he would just say like the name Tyrone. He would point to any black person and call them Tyrone, which really isn't a black name anymore, but he would always just do that and then say their last name was Shoelaces and then make us laugh as we go Tyrone Shoelaces. Like that was like a big bit. And I didn't really have a joke, but my dad constantly would tell us that.
I think I could do something like that in the realm of like women because I love to shit on women. It's like one of my favorite things to do because I'm actually such a nice guy and I help women now. I used to womanize and I had this like past of, you know, just trying to go through like banging women. I talk about it in my book. You can find it at shadowworked.com. And so anyway, I've healed those ways since and it's much different. So now it's a different thing, but I do like to shit on women driving.
Still nailing that rapist character. Love it.
He won't come out of character.
I'm
so
a method.
You got
we didn't make the movie, right?
Oh, Brandon, where can I get your book again?
Shadow Worked, SHADOWWORKED.com.
That's funny because when I was a prostitute online, my name was Shadow. I was shadow working.
You got shadow work, baby.
Yeah, because I have pubic hair and it looks like a shadow down there.
Exactly.
I got a hairy bush.
But something happened. Like I saw this accident and I was there and it was two women that got into an accident. It was a useless accident because it was two women, right? And I'm like, all right. And then they were gonna fight, and I had to like break up this fight between a pregnant lady and another lady. And then we waited half an hour for a cop to show up, and they send another lady. So they sent a lady that couldn't even park. She had to drive around the scene 3 times. I just walked away. I'm like, you know what?
Did you have them park the car?
Yeah, lady cop. She was like, "What's going on?" It's great, and it's funny because, like, I understand.
Can you do
wanna
this?
help out, but,
Yes,
like,
Officer Cunty.
yeah,
I got it.
I think it's like kind of negligent, you know. I mean, I understand, but when you put a woman in a role like that, like, what if I was a psychopath? Like, I'm playing, you know, like, it could just take, like, I don't know, man. It's just
That's like the old Joe Rogan bit where he's like, then he tells that story about when Obama was president, that somebody got in because there was one lady guard. He's like, yeah, of course they got it. It's like, well, I mean, but there's some jobs a woman can't do and guard the White House. If Shaquille O'Neal's going to come in, this lady ain't going to do anything. And then Rogan actually talks about that. He got heckled one time, telling the lady just wouldn't stop yelling, like, you're wrong. But there's a whole bit where he talks about he couldn't do it either. Like his face is where Shaq's cock is. Like a woman can't do it. He shouldn't do it. But he had to explain the joke. But it's true. You can't have 3 lady cops out there. Can I do one more story? We get out of here?
Yeah, do it, man.
Yeah. Man found asleep.
Actually, you know what? Let's play one more game.
Fuck you. No.
Hey,
Man
Brandon, have
found
you seen the
asleep
movie
in pile
Gattaca?
of stolen chicken fingers, meth. An Alabama man was caught breaking bad with barbecue sauce. Matthew Williamson, 37, was found sleeping in the press box of a sports complex surrounded by piles of stolen chicken fingers, chips, candy, and meth, cops said. The Outlaw Snooze Fest took place last week at Pleasant Grove Athletic Complex with snacks stolen from a concession stand just days after Williamson had walked out of jail on another crime, police said in a statement. Williamson had been arrested the first time on September 17th, charged with breaking and entering a vehicle and stealing property, but he made bond and walked out of Jefferson County Jail. That they said on their Facebook site. Less than 2 hours after leaving jail, Williamson stole a car in Hueytown and hid it in Pleasant Grove, the statement said. On September 22nd, someone stole a trove of snacks after breaking into athletic complex concession stand. Williamson was caught catching some shut-eye with the stolen goods and drugs the next morning, police said. Williamson admitted the burglaries and car theft and was transported back to Jefferson County Jail on Friday, the day after his nap was interrupted, the announcement said. Who's the piece of shit in this story? Is it this man, or is it Matthew Williamson, for just having a good time? He was in jail, not for a long time, for like a day or two, but he obviously lived a hard time. He got out. What he did didn't hurt anyone. Listen, crime is crime. You shouldn't steal. Yes, maybe someone lost some money. He stole some fucking concession stand chicken. You ever gone to a high school football game? The food's not good. And he stole it afterwards, which means he actually probably had to cook the chicken fingers. He had to turn on the fryer later. So he probably had to do a lot of work because you're not just fresh and ready to go. But he had chips, he had snacks, and he had some meth. Yeah, he did drugs. I get it, but there are people who do shit like that. He had a good time. He took a nap. He didn't drive a car. He actually took a stolen car to the place. He was responsible. He put the car away. He took a nap. He couldn't hurt anybody. He was just having a good time. Is it the police for bringing him back in? The second you run this thing, you go, okay, this guy's had a lot of shit. He had meth. Go bring him to a rehab place. Go have him dry out. He doesn't have to go back to fucking jail for chicken finger meth. Like, the guy stole a car before. Now he's going to get made fun of for being bitch and doing bitch crimes like chicken finger meth, barbecue sauce. In Alabama, there's so much worse. There's so much racism happening. This guy can't just have some fucking chicken fingers and some meth. What's the big fucking deal? Is it the police also for not even reporting that one? Why, if I found out someone broke into a concession stand, I wouldn't even show up. I'd pretend like I drove by and I would go do other crime stuff. It's a fucking concession stand at a high school, or is it the high school concession stand for leaving all those sweet treats in there? How have teenage kids not stolen that every day? When my high school had food, they put it away. The women, the mothers, whoever sold the shit, they took it back with them. You don't just leave it in there. Fucking that's you're begging homeless people to go bust it in. Who's the piece of shit in the story? Brandon, go first.
I think whoever called the cops is a piece of shit, because like I'm not a big fan of cops, but I'm beginning to become more of a fan of cops because like they're just doing their job at the end of the day. So if they get called to a high school where there's a meth head, they kind of got to arrest them. But you should.
They never say if someone called in that story. That's the funny thing. They just say they stole a car and then do the other thing. They weren't even going after the car. That it was just they found out.
They should have just took the guy and left him in the closest nearest for pasture woods. It's Alabama. It's fine. Just bring, you're right. Who cares about the food? Who gives a shit? Why arrest the guy? It's going to cost the citizens more to arrest him and put him through the system again than what, $20 worth of fucking gross chicken, Yeah,
like give him chicken more and chips and candy. It couldn't have cost anything.
Who's the snitch? That's what I want to know. Who called the cops? That's who's the piece of shit in this story, I think.
Bobby,
what do you think?
Here's what breaks my heart, right? He did it all for the cookie.
Yeah. Exactly.
Cookie. Yeah.
And here's the thing. It wasn't a nice organic cookie, right? It was made with all this processed shit in a lab. Like through science.
I hope he got the good.
No. He got something probably that was engineered in a lab, kind of like genetic engineering, almost like in the movie Gattaca. Have you seen the movie Gattaca, Brandon?
Oh goddamn! No, you're finishing this.
Movie.
No, Bob. No.
Okay.
No, bad Bobby. You're gonna.
Right.
We will finish on Gattaca. I will allow that guy.
Right.
No, I actually think Brandon will have a fun answer with it. You don't know where he's going with it, Brandon. It makes me nuts every fucking week. He does it all the time. Brings up Gattaca, and it's a story he does. But no, tell me what the piece of shit is first, and then we will end on the Gattaca.
All right. It was an athletic complex.
Yes.
Does it say what kind?
The Pleasant Grove Athletic Complex.
Like,
it does not say what's there.
Like, was there a swimming pool?
No, I don't believe so. It's in Alabama, so I don't think so.
Because believe it or not, swimming plays a pivotal role in the movie Gattaca. Brandon, have you seen?
Just do it. Just do Gattaca.
I'm just kidding.
No. I was in a good mood. We were killing it. We were doing fine. We had stimulating conversation. We did it all. No, Brandon, you ready to answer a question about penis? Go ahead, Bobby.
For me, the piece of shit is the meth head.
No, the piece of shit is Bobby. Move on to Gattaca.
How
Move
dare you?
on
That
to
meth
Gattaca.
head was just
Hey,
having a good time.
You know the movie Gattaca, Brandon? You know that movie? You know they could do like
Ethan
you
Hunt.
know, they could do the engineering
No,
of
let me
people.
set it
and all
up.
that
Let me
stuff.
set up the bit.
No, I'll fucking do it.
Uma
No,
Thurman?
because you don't do it as eloquently as me. The piece of shit is the meth head who stole a car. He was already in prison for a crime. Don't. If you're
He's
gonna
having fun. He wasn't driving around asking people what they do to design boycocks.
Yeah, I need more evidence about this stolen car. Who lets a meth head steal their car? Come on.
That's a good
He's
point.
a meth
too.
head. Yeah, come on. You left the keys.
I don't
running
think
or-
anyone lets anyone steal their car.
Yeah, okay. If the
He's gonna be
person was
borrowing
like,
the car.
if the person was like maybe Puerto Rican, I'd say yeah, he stole the car. But he's a meth head white guy. He
No,
didn't
no,
steal the car. He took
looks,
it from someone.
He looks pretty Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay. What was his name again?
Well, it's Matthew Williamson, and he's 37. I can't tell if he's Puerto Rican or just has too many tattoos. He has one of those things.
He's one of those things.
You go ahead and do the thing.
No. Who's the piece of shit?
You.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
The piece of shit is the fucking people that run the athletic complex for leaving chicken fingers in there.
I get that. That's a
Yeah.
good point.
If you don't have good snacks, he wouldn't have broken in. He probably just would have taken a nap somewhere else. But you know what? Also, as I say that, I realized that maybe they're also heroes because if they didn't have shitty snacks, he might have robbed a bank or hurt somebody and gone to a real restaurant and not an athletic complex. He just looked like he was looking for a place to go. His family probably wouldn't let him back. They're embarrassed by this motherfucker, and he was in the jail. He comes out, whatever it is, and he just wanted some food, some treats, and some meth. He just wanted to have a good time, but he wasn't allowed to. But they shouldn't have lured him in with the sweet treats.
Fair enough.
Do your thing.
I wonder, do you think he was left-handed?
Because you know what? People in Gattaca are fucking left-handed.
Hey, that was a
Just
pivotal
fucking-
plot point of the movie
You're a
Gattaca, which
pivotal
Brandon has seen.
plot
So you
point.
understand the genetic engineering, right? And we're going to get to a point even past that where you can design every square inch of your child. And the question comes, if you were to have a son, how big are you making his cock?
I think I would just let nature take its course. But if
Yeah.
I would just choose a hammer.
Damn it.
You know,
Yeah, one thing we did get concerned
I
with
wouldn't
is-
no circumcision either. I ain't cutting that dick. Fuck that.
Ooh.
That's an old slave technique to keep slaves back in like the Egyptian times. Look into that one, guys. Anyway,
No thanks. I look up
look
enough
into
things
this.
on my
No, look,
computer.
come here. I'll show you. Look into
I
it.
look up enough things on my computer.
Yeah. Fair enough.
All right, now,
one
Brandon,
concern we did
Bobby, you
have
can't
with-
see this, but Brandon, that's the criminal.
Ooh. Okay.
So is he Puerto Rican?
Nah, he looks like a white guy.
I mean, those eyes are bugged. Like that is
Yeah.
he's on meth still in that picture.
Ooh, look at those tattoos he's got. That's fancy. He's got a whole like alphabets, and then it looks like he has a Ouija board tattooed on his chest.
Bobby, you got your phone on you?
I do.
I'm about to send you a picture so you can comment quickly.
That's why I was getting my phone out.
I got you. I'm setting the story. Just scroll down, you'll see the guy.
Yeah, the guy, he looks like a scared mouse. He is fucking definitely on something.
Yeah. Don't
I
take
think
him
he-
to prison. Take that guy for help. He's scared.
You should give him some more chicken fingers.
What's it say on his shirt? Does it say, look at those tattoo with the stars, and it probably says Lucky Charms.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It looks like a Ouija board. I think it is.
It might be. Holy shit! I think it might be a Ouija board. They were playing
Or-
Ouija board.
A Luigi board.
Ooh, Mario.
Oh,
What? I bet you in prison he was such a bitch they would lay him naked and play Ouija on his chest.
Yeah.
Like they just tattooed it on him. Brandon, he looks like Mike Filati. Remember Mike Filati? The guy-
Yeah, yeah.
He's our buddy of ours. He looks like him, but Mike's also a highest guy. Mike's got a new he's running a CBD place in North Haven now.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But this guy, he looks all that's actually the best and worst mugshot I've ever seen. Because his eyes are shot, you can see the red in him, but his hair doesn't look bad. It looks like it's messy on purpose. He's attentive, his shoulders are square. You know what I mean? It doesn't look bad. He looks like when they do movies where like they have like a guy who used to be in the military, but he escaped from and tried to leave. They found him and they start doing experiments on him. He looks like that's the photo you take before they're gonna like turn him into a super soldier.
Yeah. We'll put the Ouija board on his chest. We'll call him Luigi Ouija.
He's got rat qualities too, like with the ears and the eyes being so far apart.
Yeah.
He's got quite the thin neck.
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely looks like the kind of guy that could sneak through like a window of a fucking complex, like, you know, concession stand.
Like put a bunch of butter on and just sneak through.
Like, he's not the kind of guy that if you say, really, that guy did meth and stole chicken fingers? No, you'd be like, yeah, that guy. Like, yeah, he does it all the time. I'm surprised he finally got caught.
Steal? Are you sure he didn't steal chicken? Because it looks like he stole chicken fingers and is on meth, guys. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know anything about meth.
He also looks like I wouldn't be surprised if he fucked chickens too.
Yeah.
Like, I would be like, oh yeah, if the story was this guy was caught fucking a chicken.
I also wouldn't be surprised if he thought those were chickens actually have fingers. He probably thinks that too. I don't know anything about meth. Does meth make you sleepy?
You crash.
Do you? I don't know. What does meth make? Is meth like coke? You get energy, or do you feel good like heroin? I don't know any of the drugs. I've been told things, so I don't know. But like, what does meth do?
Well, from all my Breaking Bad research, it seems to.
I never watched the show, so I don't know that.
Yeah, it seems to be like a very heavy stimulant. So kind of like, I guess, cocaine, similar.
Like focus, like if it helps you focus.
Have you ever taken too many Adderall?
I've never taken Adderall in my life.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like that. Adderall is literally almost meth.
Almost meth. That should be the new name of the podcast.
Have you ever taken too much cold medicine back in the day before they used to keep it behind the counter? It's
Have
like that.
I robo tripped.
Yeah.
No, I haven't done any of these cool things.
It's because you're white trash.
It's because I'm not busy fucking building my cock for my kid.
Yeah, that was kind of.
Yeah, take that, Bobby. That was kind of cock building.
Yeah, just think. I'm gonna pull a Brandon line. I just want you to do a little research to who's on your side, Pat.
The dicks?
No, Brandon.
I'm just gonna go over to cock shoot broad. Can we go? That's Bobby. That's the T-shirt. The first one ever, live from cock shoot broad. We just get a picture of the water body.
Yes.
And then our title on our show on the back. Cock shoot broad.
I like it.
Or world tour. We just name all those places that were banned. Cock shoot broad.
I like it on the back. Yeah. That's
fucking
definitely good.
Austria, but we don't write fucking. We fly it out, whatever. But I love they changed the name from fucking to fuggin. They just put G's. That's it. We changed our town name.
We're fucking Australia now.
Brandon, I know you did plug it quickly, but now let people know where they can get the book, where they can check out your podcast, all that shit.
Well, if you go to morelawsmoreproblems.com, you can find it all. My book is also there, but if you go to shadowwork.com, you can find it and get it directly. It's all donation based. I'll send you the PDF and the EPUB. And I also have a podcast with my lovely friend Ashley about the tarot. And it's called Terrible, the Terrible Podcast, and it's terrible.com, TAROTBULL. It's one of the funniest puns you ever heard.com, and check it out. We covered all 78 of the cards and talked about them for at least an hour or two. So yeah, it's really fun.
And when Brandon told that joke on stage one time, son, it's still one of my favorite videos that we had to record it. And Brandon says terrible, and a lady hissed at him, and then he explained to her how she's
like,
dumb.
No.
It's a fun video. Yeah, she goes, no. It's on my YouTube somewhere. And I put our YouTube the POS podcast YouTube channel. If you scroll way down, you'll see it's just like the worst pun ever or something like that. You can find that video of Brandon just doing that quickly. So, Bobby,
check out the Eastside Dave Show with Roy Harder every Tuesday at 7:30 on Compound Media. Follow me at Bobby_Tamburo. And be on the lookout for maybe another How Could You Forget, maybe at the end of next month. Who knows?
Get over to the YouTube channel, the POS Podcast YouTube channel. I just put up the episodes that we weren't going to put up. Brandon knows because our third podcast partner when we used to do the show Podophiles was Dave Hintz. And Dave can get crazy. And Dave got insane on this episode with another guy, Ray Collado, who's fucking hilarious. Catolo, sorry, but fucking hilarious guy. And the two of them together, you thought that like I was getting mad at Bobby about moving off, getting out of the subject a little bit today. We didn't get one POS story in. It was so much. one ending. It was yes ending. It was so much crazy improv. It was so fun, but it was an insane train wreck. And in the ending with the video, I've never watched Bobby just shut down and say, no, Pat, no. I've watched it back twice. I'm just Bobby getting upset. Usually it's the other way around. You got to see it. Go check that episode out. I was going to leave it just on Patreon, but the world needs to see it. I think I'm going to leave it for a couple of days. Then I'm going to put it back just on the Patreon. But if you want to get videos like that, the crazier ones, the new Frank coming back, that's going to be on there. Check that one out. That's on the Patreon. For as little as $3 a month, you get fucking a bonus episode every week, other stuff like that. You get episodes like this before anyone else does. Get over there, support us. We appreciate you. That's about it for me. So, Brandon, Bobby's in a studio, usually at the end.
Nope, we're doing something different tonight.
What?
Brandon, I need you to play a happy beat for me so we can sign off like tonight's show. Night show.
Like a beatbox?
Yeah, whatever you want to
Okay.
do, just happy kind of upbeat.
Well, when do I end?
You when I say
Okay.
the normal thing.
Good. Go.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what a fun episode of the Pat Oates Show. What did we learn? It was a lot. We learned about what really happened on 9/11. We learned about
Allegedly.
Wiccan. We learned about Pat. We learned Frank's still a bitch. And most importantly, we learned the way to fight the system is just being happy. Remember, if you can't join them, beat them, and don't be a piece of shit.
Or Ruth Bader Ginsburg.